Aaron Rodgers will have no restrictions when OTAs begin on May 20, according to Robert Saleh, head coach of the New York Jets. It's great news. Aaron Rodgers is good to go. Still some concern, given he's an older fella coming back from an Achilles tear, but the Jets did right by drafting a backup, a rookie quarterback in this draft, Jordan Travis. We like him quite a bit. And so that was a fantastic move, and I'm excited. You're excited. Let's talk Garrett Wilson. Let's talk Breece Hall. Let's talk Malachi Corley, who, according to this little report right here that we talked about earlier on the show, Malachi Corley said that Aaron Rodgers has offered to let him stay in his guest house, and he plans to accept such an offer. Who wouldn't, right? And Corley said he's been texting A-Rod a lot and hopes to learn as much as possible. No one, I repeat, let me look at my glasses. Look into my glasses. Nobody has taught you more about Malachi Corley than this guy. No show has talked him up and ranked him higher than this show right here. And Malachi Corley, who's been sitting on the mid-season monster list all off-season long, is primed and ready to prove us right. We did a little who's the next Tank Dell, and we said, you know what, Javon Baker is potentially the next Tank Dell. Malachi Corley is easily in that wheelhouse as well. Malachi Corley, Aaron Rodgers, let's talk about it. Do it live. Hit the thumb up button on your way in the door. Wipe your feet. The Fantasy Football Show Graveyard Edition, Emergency Live Stream Edition begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show.
Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news
from
breaks.
The FantasyFootballShow.com news desk. Here is your breaking news.
So kind of wanted to do another additional live stream on this because the live stream before was about Malachi Corley. The live stream before was about Javon Baker. We talked about how this guy is a lead candidate, I'd say, to become the next Tank Dell. Malachi Corley is certainly up there. The only thing is he's a little bit more in the I guess you could say the popular radar. He's on the radar at least. And Malachi Corley, you're not going to steal away as much as you will Javon Baker, but Javon Baker is just an absolute gem in New England, and he was the second drafted wide receiver by the New England Patriots, but could be the number one, and he's got a whole lot of upside. But this guy right here, Malachi Corley, we've talked up more than anybody. You can't find a single person that ranked this guy higher because we came out in our January, February rankings talking about him being the next Deebo Samuel, this yak yardage monster coming out of college, looking like the real deal, best yak yard receiver in the game at the FBS level coming out of this 2023. And he lands in a pretty sneaky spot. Now, it is a little bit disappointing on a surface level that he doesn't go to a completely empty wide receiver room where he can kind of become the number one and kind of like Zay Flowers did in a way, right? Goes to a very empty place. Let's see what he's got. It would have been interesting, would have been nice, could have been a pretty damn good, situation. But look, I mean, this guy could be as good as Jordan Addison in like a year, or a half a year or whatever. That's why he's a midseason monster. And who's to say something doesn't happen, and the door opens and he just becomes better and better and better. And all of a sudden you got him and Garrett Wilson in a Nico and Tank Dell situation. So I don't want to put a governor or limiter on his upside just because he landed next to Garrett Wilson. But I will say initially it was like, damn, we wanted him to go somewhere where he didn't have any competition whatsoever. But that wasn't the case. But time to move on from that and just kind of evaluate what we're looking at, the situation at hand. And Malachi Corley's in a good position to get a whole bunch of targets from Aaron Rodgers, a quarterback that's been coined over the years as not being a very rookie-friendly quarterback, especially to wide receivers. And the honest truth is we don't know what Aaron Rodgers even is anymore. He's a different human being than he was in Green Bay. He's happier. He loves the game. You had to talk him into playing each year, and you had to twist his arm to even give you an answer. And now he's like saying, I'm rejuvenated. I want to play. He injures himself, and he wants to commit to 2 more years. So Aaron Rodgers is absolutely in love with the game. He loves this young team of just absolute, hungry to win, hungry to learn, hungry for everything, that's heading their direction. Aaron Rodgers loves feeding them the knowledge and teaching all of these kids. Really, he's literally like a teacher over there in New York, and he loves that. He absolutely loves having all these people look up to him. And some call him arrogant, some call him egotistical. I love Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers is a whole new man over in New York. And Malachi Corley, you would think, okay, he doesn't love rookie wide receivers. He's going to bring them along slowly. He didn't with Christian Watson. Even though Christian Watson failed in 2023, Christian Watson was brought along very quickly in Green Bay under the tutelage of Aaron Rodgers as a rookie. Dobbs as well. So Rodgers has proven he can work with rookie players. And I don't think there's anybody here. Mike Williams doesn't really tickle my fancy all that much when it comes to long-term season value. Maybe in month 1, but how many games does Mike Williams play? And Mike Williams doesn't scare me from Malachi Corley stealing more targets. In fact, Mike Williams, let's say Corley goes into the slot a lot of the time. Mike Williams serves his purpose. He keeps defenses honest, and Malachi Corley gets a lot of the better work. I'm not even needing a Mike Williams injury in my mind to envision a Malachi Corley rise. Malachi Corley is a Deebo Samuel. There is no player in college football that you can identify as being the most likely to be the next Deebo than this man right here. He does all of the things Deebo does. He's a yak yard monster, which is a qualification to be the next Deebo Samuel, and he's just exciting. His film absolutely pops, and if you don't see that, then you haven't watched it. If you think Malachi Corley is just an average player, you haven't really sat down and watched about a half hour of Malachi Corley YouTube videos. Just YouTube them for 10-15 minutes, then come back and tell me some sort of nonsense. A Big T dropping his 7-month membership celebration, says Smitty to the moon. No, Big T, you go to the moon, pal. You deserve it, not me. Appreciate you coming in with your celebratory message. At the end of the day, there are a few players like Javon Walker. There are a few players like Malachi Corley, Brandon Rice, Luke McCaffrey. There are several names that come to mind as the next Tank Dell. And there's no doubt in my mind that Malachi Corley qualifies for that. There's no doubt in my mind that this guy's got the ability and talent to become one of the most underrated, unexpected, explosion-type players in the National Football League. Best utility guys you could throw into a situation like you do Deebo and like you will see in Malachi Corley in New York. And there's almost even a little concern, not a lot, just a little concern that he takes a little bit of Breece Hall's receiving work, because this guy's going to get a lot of at the line of scrimmage type of play calls. But Breece is going to get checked down to more than he did last year. Aaron Rodgers loved to throw the football to Aaron Jones. So I think whatever maybe Malachi gets and picks up in terms of like really short passes at or a little bit ahead of the line of scrimmage where he can do some yak yard damage, I think Breece Hall is going to get an additional amount of work from Aaron Rodgers, and that this offense is going to have the field stretch, and there can be some delayed, screen plays and all kinds of different things that you wouldn't see in the Zach Wilson-led New York Jet offense, because they didn't have enough time to do some of these amazing, crazy, crafty plays that the New York Jets can now do under the command of Aaron Rodgers, whose gun, his arm, his quick release, his knowledge, his ability to audible, his ability to read defenses like no one else in the league. This guy's going to have the ability to make sure he puts Breece Hall, Malachi Corley, Garrett Wilson, and the entire offense in the right spots at the right time, supported by a defense he's never seen before. We have barely seen Aaron Rodgers play. It is going to be so exciting to watch him go out onto the field and command a team that's as well built and is good from top to bottom, minus the quarterback spot when Aaron Rodgers isn't there. We forget how good they are. This is similar to Atlanta and the Atlanta Falcons. This is similar to how we kind of forget how good the Falcons really are. And all these complaining Calebs and people that want a Monday morning quarterback, the Michael Penix Jr. selection, those people I think have forgotten how well built and ready the Atlanta Falcons are, minus the quarterback position. Like Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. You got Mooney. You got a nice little squad here. You got a defense that's a lot better than even people think, because the defense was asked to be on the field constantly because the Falcons weren't as good of an offense. The Falcons, people don't realize how important Penix Jr. and Kirk Cousins can be to this team that doesn't really need a whole lot. They're going to play so much better than they did last year. Some of the pieces of the offense and defense that look like they might be weak links probably aren't even weak links, because they all just got worn down and didn't get utilized properly. Didn't get thrown to in terms of receivers or just even Bijan, getting more receiving work than he probably. We can't even even reflect on what was wrong with the Atlanta Falcons offense. We don't even really have a good grasp on what is going to change, because we're so used to seeing this thing get run into the ground. And I think the New York Jets are the same thing. People are going to walk into this situation and go, I don't really know what it is. I don't really know what Garrett Wilson is. How many of you out there are a little hesitant on Garrett Wilson? I admit, I'm a little, I'm not saying I'm avoiding him. I love Garrett Wilson. He's still a top 12 overall player. But I mean, how many of you just kind of are you just got a little, the yikes emoji. You're just I'm really excited, but I'm not sure. I got burned. I'm just a little apprehensive. I'm really excited. I got both feet in, but I'm just kind of keeping my body out of the door just a little bit because I need to run. And I feel like taking a shower. I feel like I'm absolutely scared to death that this thing is going to end badly for me. That is how we feel about Garrett Wilson. That is how we feel about the New York Jets offense. That's how we feel about the New York Jets defense that's getting worn down. That's how we feel about Bijan. That's how we feel about Pitts and London. And guess what? This situation, the Jets situation, the Atlanta Falcons situation, very similar. They're ready. They're ready to go. Both offenses are ready to rip it up. Tear it up. Drop loads all over the field. All they need are the quarterbacks, and the Atlanta Falcons have it backed up. They've got the double system in place. People are going to say what they want about it. I don't care. And the Jets have a pretty decent double system in place as well, because they drafted a nice little rookie quarterback. Dial into the phone line, brought to you by theattic.shop, formerly known as Grindhouse. Do it live.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Penix was head scratcher because Falcons win now mode. And look, we've gone over this before. I respect your opinion, but I just 100,000% disagree with you. And I've got hours of dedicated video to just this, so I'll reference you to that, Jeff. But it is absolutely an amazing move. And I love that I'm the only one standing up for it. I love that all these copycat, reports and shows and people reporting on it just want to follow the leader. I saw one person say there's not a I saw one report saying there's not a person out there that's going to support this from a reporting. I support it. Come at me. Got a whole video dedicated to it. Give me Penix Jr. Give me Kirk Cousins. I get it. And I also did a report on how the background behind this was in the plans essentially the whole time. The background on this was that you have a head coach that comes over and brings his amazing offensive, defensive mind to the table, and Raheem Morris, a guy that I think could win Coach of the Year. And he brings over Zach Robinson. And Morris, when interviewed for the job before Arthur Smith got it, he walked in and said, you need a 2-quarterback system. You need to back up and have basically a succession plan. And they didn't do it. Arthur Smith walked into the interview and said, I'll figure it out. And they liked Arthur Smith's plan. They said, I believe him. And boy, were they wrong. So when Raheem Morris ventured back to the Atlanta Falcons and interviewed, he said, I told you. And they said, you did. And he said, let me do my work. They said, you're hired. They brought him in, and he did his damage. He did what he planned and set out to do. And everybody else that wants to pretend that this was a botched panic move and they didn't have a plan, you think whatever you want. You think whatever you want. Penix Jr. to the Falcons is going to be one of the best moves made in the entire 2024 NFL draft. And you know what? A bunch of complaining Caleb's and Monday morning quarterbacking, whatever your name is, Monday morning quarterbacking Morgans, you know what they're going to say? Oh, well, I was never against Penix Jr. I never said that the pick wasn't bad. I just said they shouldn't have spent the money on Cousins. If you want to come in and complain about the allocation of resources and that they should just bank on Penix Jr. and bring in some other backup plan like the Jets did or Rattler or draft someone later, you can do that. But don't pick on the draft selection of Michael Penix Jr. Don't call that a bad draft selection. Don't act like that's not one of the best picks in the entire NFL draft because your receipt is being left on screen. Your receipt's being left on screen. The Atlanta Falcons, as Matt O just said, the defense is fine. The holes that people think are there are not that crazy and wide open, and this team is set at quarterback. And if Kirk Cousins goes down, and we don't know if there's some sort of underlying concern or worry about Kirk Cousins or whatever the hell might be brewing behind closed doors, we do know Raheem Morris told the Falcons that he wanted to do this type of plan back when they interviewed him before Arthur Smith became head coach. So everybody can do what they want. Monday morning quarterback all you want. Laugh at Raheem Morris all you want. Laugh at this offense and defense. It's going to be very similar to how it was last year, but mixed with the Los Angeles Rams passing attack, because Zach Robinson, the QB coordinator from LA, coming over to now orchestrate and architect the new Atlanta Falcons offense, is going to make this thing look like glory. And everybody that said all these bad things over and over and over, and yeah, like Golf said, it's a similar Jordan Love blueprint. You can say, oh, it's so different, Smitty, because Jordan Love was taken at the tail end of the first round. It was very much later than the number 8 overall pick. Who cares? Who cares? Not to mention, did anybody ever think of this? Does anybody think that maybe they did tamper, and this is going to be ruled in the favor or not in their favor, and that they're going to lose a first round pick, and they know that they're never going to get another shot for a long time to draft a first round draft selection quarterback? Does anybody ever think that might even be on their mind? So, you know, and that's on them for doing that, but I'm just telling you that you can say what you want about this Penix Jr. situation. You could blame it on Cousins later and act like you love the pick, which everyone's going to laugh at you, because, not saying specifically the guy that, I wasn't calling out anybody specific. I'm just saying the regular complaining Caleb's on this topic. Do what you want. Say what you want. As for this situation, which is what I really want to talk about, phone lines are open. Malachi Corley is in for a big rookie season. And I think that what we're going to see happen is not going to be some sort of, okay, Aaron Rodgers traditionally hasn't liked rookies, so he's not going to like Malachi. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's a different person, as I mentioned at the top of the show. And I think the fact that he's offering his like spare room, you know, guest house for Malachi Corley to come stay at, it speaks volumes about Aaron Rodgers' willingness to bring a rookie along quickly. And does anybody think that maybe his success with Christian Watson has him thinking, I want to do this again, and I did some things, because he never used to work with rookies very much. He used to always make rookies wait a year. And does anybody think that maybe he sees what he sees and what he saw in Watson in this kid, and now he's even better? He says, you know what, I'm going to approach it this way, because I could have got Christian Watson on track much quicker had I done this, and this. I mean, who's to say he hasn't learned a lot of things about how to take care of rookie wide receivers differently? Malachi Corley is a phenom that steps out of college with a solid 11 touchdowns back-to-back seasons. 11 touchdowns in back-to-back seasons. kind of, I believe, under the radar for the most part, even to scouts, even to people that kind of know what time it is. They still don't, even with the jet landing spot, they still have questions about him. They still don't know what they feel about him. And all I know is that you take a look at games played mixed with what his production was during games played. 101 receptions, 1293, and 11 TDs in 2022. 79 receptions, 984, less work, and 11 TDs, still scoring a lot of touchdowns. 12.8 and 12.5 yards per catch. And if we look at yak yards, college football leaders, let me see if I can pull up this information and put this up on screen. This guy was a yak king, a yak machine, an absolute gem, a monster. Malachi Corley, beast. When you watch his film specifically, you see a guy that, let me see if I can find the data real quickly. If I can get a hold of some yak yard data real quickly before I put it up on screen here. Let me see if I can find it. Yak yards. When you watch him play football, he very much reminds you of Deebo just in style of play. I mean, really has that kind of like all over the field. I can't seem to find it while I'm live. I'm trying to find the yak yards. I don't want to leave you guys hanging here. Per catch. Let's see if we can find yak. I'll find it as I'm on a phone call or something and put it up on screen because I don't want to keep you guys waiting. But when you watch him on film, I urge all of you to go to YouTube after the show, of course. Don't do it now. Malachi Corley YouTube highlights. And search that up, and you'll see that he's an absolute monstrous, like, king of yards after the catch. Get him the football, watch him just navigate spaces, find rushing lanes or receiving lanes. Rushing and receiving lanes. That's the nature of why I coin him as a Deebo Samuel. He's like catching a 1 or 2 or 3 yard slant, and then he becomes a running back. And then he finds rushing lanes, not just receiving lanes, rushing lanes, open lanes. Navigates like a magnet to the nearest open space and just finds a way to wiggle out a couple more yards, muster a couple more. On Underdog, my team is Stage. Oh, Ray G. Ray G's the one that's been using the Smitty blueprint over and over and over with the snipage. That's Ray G right there. Ray G, Stage. We knew it was somebody in the chat because you were taking the Smitty blueprint in smashing it into everybody's face, which is how I expect Ray G to do it, to be honest with you. Corley, 50 to 60 catches for 804 TDs, says Matt O. I don't want to say that he can't outperform that or that's likely because I think we're talking about, it depends on the situation. It depends on Mike Williams. It depends how quick he gets brought along. I think he's definitely got like a 6+ total touchdown potential. And I think 60 plus for 900 yards wouldn't be insane. I kind of look at like a Christian Watson rookie year. Remember where Watson was under 1,000 yards receiving as a rookie, but he had some of those big blow up games. So yeah, Malachi Corley doesn't necessarily have to have 1,000 yards to have a huge year. It's just that's why he's a midseason monster. I'm not saying he can't pop in week 1. But look at Christian Watson. Took some growing to do, especially with an Aaron Rodgers offense, especially with Aaron Rodgers with some of his impromptu instincts and changing calls and throwing the ball over a back shoulder instead of where it was designed to go because he sees that the receivers got more room. And so Aaron Rodgers, you'd see yelling at Christian Watson going, turn that way, you went the wrong way. And they're yelling at each other, and he has to get to know Aaron Rodgers. And when you play for Aaron Rodgers, there's a lot of like improvising, but you have to know what he wants. And so that's why Christian Watson had some mistakes and they weren't on the same page at the beginning of the year. And maybe that's why Aaron Rodgers has tended to not look to wide receivers, right? Rookie wide receivers, because he feels like they won't pick it up and he just doesn't want to waste his time until they've got a year of football under their belt and they kind of see him working. But I think what Aaron Rodgers has experienced over the years is that rookie wide receivers have become more and more and more prepared. Their game translates quicker and quicker and quicker. And now he hasn't had a chance, he hasn't had a need to use them with Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams. And then once he had Devontae Adams raptured from the Green Bay Packers, he had to look at the rookie wide receiver. And for the first time, really, in a long time. And when he saw what he got, when he realized how quickly these rookie wide receivers can pick things up, I think he's looking at rookie receivers differently than before. I think he's looking at an evolved position that he's actually excited about working with, hence why he's offering his home up for Malachi Corley. So I don't know that I would say 906 touchdowns and 60-plus receptions feels like a good place to start for Malachi Corley that protects you into thinking he's going to be a monster, which he might not be for a while, but by midseason, hence the midseason monster, Malachi Corley could be on his horse and looking like Christian Watson did his rookie year at the end of the year, right? Because that's what had us loving Christian Watson so much. And I don't want to use ever Christian Watson's failure to be scared about predicting the next one. You know, we need to make sure that never clouds our judgment or infects our fantasy football evaluations and thinking. Never let one failure dictate or paint a picture about the next one because you're scared. Okay, because Christian Watson was a fantastic call. It was. It didn't work out. I don't regret it. I don't feel like we missed anything. I think we were a victim of hamstring injuries that we couldn't foresee happening, and I don't know what that leads us to for 2024. Does he get right and do what he is supposed to do, or did his time pass? Did Jaden Reed pass him, and we don't really know where he's going to go? But I don't feel bad about what we predicted and how it went. It is what it is. You're going to hit some, you're going to miss some, and even on some of your misses, it's not like you got it wrong. There's just a lot of luck involved, not only in fantasy, but in NFL football and players staying healthy. I mean, think about like a player like, anybody. The Achilles injury is a career ender for running backs, not for necessarily DBs or receivers or quarterbacks or NBA players, but for a running back, there's never, ever, ever, ever been an Achilles tear player that has been a top 10 running back after an Achilles tear, ever. Never returned to top 10, never became a top 10 in the history of the NFL. Deonta Foreman's the only Achilles tear running back that has ever had success, and he's never been top 10. He's been pretty productive, but it took him like 4 years to get there. So my whole point being is the NFL there's a lot of luck involved. Imagine if one of these top running backs that we've had the pleasure of watching play for, a decade or so, like take any one of them. Let's just say CMC. If CMC suffered an Achilles tear in his third season, we may never have ever seen Christian McCaffrey ever play well again. And so, like, all I'm saying is, Christian Watson, you can't be hard on something that, it takes a lot of luck to not have those injuries take out a player, and the injuries took out Christian Watson. So I don't feel ashamed of that pick at all. But Malachi Corley, Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, I'm so excited to watch what we wanted to see unfold last year. We get to see it unfold this year, and I hope to God that Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, because they don't have quite the backup plan that Atlanta has. They have a good one. I'm satisfied with it. I'm glad that Zach Wilson's not going to be the guy. We can't have that. Maybe this guy that shares the name of the guy on the phone line right now, Travis is on the phone. Jordan Travis, maybe it's a sign, bro. Maybe Jordan Travis is going to be good, and Travis on the phone line, Marsman Travis, hopefully you could bring some luck to this kid's future.
Hopefully. I like that pick by them. He was having a great year before he got injured this year for Florida State.
Yeah. He's an exciting kid. Let me pull up Jordan Travis's stats and see if we can put that on. But go ahead. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers? What do you think about the fact that Aaron Rodgers is opening up his home or his guest house to Malachi Corley? What do you think about the fact that Aaron Rodgers has always been coined as a non-rookie wide receiver friendly QB, but lately we've in defense of Aaron Rodgers, because maybe that's even unfair. Maybe he'd say that's not true. The only reason you don't see him friendly to wide receivers is Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams. There's never been an opening.
I was just going to say.
Never been an opening.
He had Randall Cobb and Jordy.
Yeah.
And Devontae Adams came out.
Yeah, you just can't judge someone for never having an opening and saying, why don't you force feed it to the rookie? He's been blessed to have all those wide receivers. So, but also I think, it was his first time working with rookies so extensively and immediately, and those were his top guys, and he did great with them. So I think he's probably really excited about going down this road with Malachi Corley. And Aaron Rodgers, let's not forget, Aaron Rodgers probably, sees a lot in Malachi Corley because, he knows probably knows what he's looking for, right? So he probably looks at this kid and says, wow, I could do a lot with Malachi Corley. And he probably is excited for his own benefit, for the team's benefit, to get this kid involved to help keep, defenses honest and to allow him to feed Garrett Wilson continuously.
Yeah, and on Garrett Wilson, I don't hesitate on him really at all because I just can't see, even if Rodgers goes out, anyone being worse than Zach Wilson really was last year. And to me, we've kind of seen, if that's the case, we've seen Garrett Wilson's floor, which is, it was hit or miss to a point, but it's not necessarily going to ruin your season, I know there's safer guys out there, but I also think that a lot more is going to be open on the field. As long as Mike Williams stays healthy, he's good. We expect him probably to get hurt, but besides that, just think of how dangerous Breece Hall and Malachi Corley can be, at the line of scrimmage or behind it, both there, not knowing who's going to get the ball. They can both take it to the house, and that's going to make defenses play different, open different things up for Wilson. So it can be really interesting offense this year.
Yeah, I think I think it's gonna be pretty interesting watching him evolve, given his ability to kind of help Malachi Corley, to help this team allow Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson to see as much open space and, in Garrett Wilson's case, single coverage as possible. So I think it's to Aaron Rodgers' benefit to get an explosive playmaking yak yard machine like Malachi Corley on track as fast as possible, so that his main weapons, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to Corley because we love Corley, clearly, but you got to keep Garrett Wilson, in single coverage as much as possible, or in the best situations as possible. So this is important, and I think Aaron Rodgers is smart enough to be like, look, I'm going to be injured a little bit. He's still not going to be 100%. What's going to make my life easier? Well, you know what? This kid is a yak machine. He reminds me of Deebo Samuel. Mm-hmm. And if I could get him on track quick, I might get my Christian Watson action going on here alongside of, Garrett Wilson being St. Brown good, and then Breece Hall being Breece Hall good. Breece Hall was the number two running back last year with the slow start. And yeah, Breece Hall, teams are going to know he's coming, but how are you going to stop him? How are you going to focus on Breece Hall?
I was going to say, still got to stop him.
You can't. I mean, and when I say I don't doubt Garrett Wilson at all. When I said earlier the hesitation, I'm just saying when you get kicked right in the nutsack, like we all did with Garrett Wilson all year long, the abuse we endured. When you get kicked in the nutsack on the Bijan right Robinson, and Bijan Robinson, there's a natural tendency to just be like, okay, let me close my eyes and lean forward again and hope I don't get smacked right in the face or kicked right in the nuts again. But I really believe in you, and we lean forward and we're hoping we don't get it's a natural fear. But the thing about the Falcons is I have no fear now with Atlanta because of their quarterback situation. What they did alleviated, because if they had just Kirk Cousins, I'd be doing what I'm doing with Aaron Rodgers. I'm kind of crossing my fingers, and I'm like, if Aaron Rodgers tears his other Achilles, which is the greater fear than him tearing the healing Achilles, just so people know, if he goes out there and tears his other Achilles in compensation because of all the work force he's put on that, he goes out and tears that, we're maybe not completely dead in the water again, because maybe Jordan Travis is the real deal. We don't know. There's not enough on him to feel super confident. We're just excited they drafted a guy that had some pretty good upside. But Aaron Rodgers, there's a little bit more of a finger cross. Bijan's more secure than Breece Hall. I know Breece Hall did it without Aaron Rodgers, but I don't want him to have to do that again. It's almost like you're holding your breath a little bit more if you don't have that quarterback play. It's not something you want. So Bijan feels a little more secure than Breece Hall because you have these two quarterbacks. I have almost no fear on the Atlanta Falcons side of this. I have almost no fear, but Jets a little bit.
I have to. I got to admit, I forgot the Jets have Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. I kind of
So,
like him as well. I
I was just thinking, who's their other quarter? I couldn't remember because I thought they had a veteran. So, and I just looked it up, Tyrod Taylor. So,
yeah,
I mean, that gives me a little more. I mean, he's not great, but you know he can get the ball to guys. You know, with that much talent around him, he might be able to. You know, for a few games, if Aaron Rodgers blows his other Achilles out, then yeah, could be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, John. Somebody put John in timeout. Stop complaining, John. Stop complaining, bro. Like, you bring some more professionalism. How about you bring some professionalism to the chat? Somebody put him in timeout. Start being positive around here, John. This is your final. Maybe this is even your final warning, because it's constant negativity. What's wrong with the phone lines? What's wrong with how we're operating the phone line right now? John says the phone gets abused. Fan of the channel, but it needs some more professionalism and guidelines for those calling in. Hate to be that guy. No, you don't hate to be that guy. You love to be that guy. You're talking to a guy that opens the phone line and has videos like this.
Leave it on the fields.
Just in time.
Fields of dreams.
Feels like making love.
Outstanding in his. Reese Hall is 8 foot tall.
All right, prepare for take one. All right, action.
He's a box score, Bobby. He's a little sloppy.
You bring your own professionalism. This ain't no professionalism contest here, John. So shape up. God, he's so negative. Everything he says. John, this your last warning. It's your last warning. Constantly complaining. Constantly complaining. About what? About what? What is so bad about this show, bro? What do you want? How much more professional can I be? Hold on one second, Travis. Let me get over to Ethan.
Maybe he's sick of hearing from me. I don't know.
Travis is probably tired of yelling at you.
Just say so.
Good God, bro. Ethan the negative. Give me some good news. Don't tell me a dad joke. I'm not in the mood.
No, did you see the who's the running back the Packers just got from USC? What's his name again?
Why am I blanking on his name?
Is it Lloyd?
Lloyd.
Yeah, he looks electric. I guess they said he's got like fumbling issues and he's not really a receiving back, but
he's pretty good.
The guy is electric.
He's pretty good. Think he's possibly Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby is going to be a staple on this channel moving forward, because that guy had as much upside as anybody in this running back draft class, except for maybe Trey Benson and Jonathan Brooks. Like I put those guys higher, but aside from the two starters, the two absolute gems, in Jonathan Brooks and Trey Benson, Tank Bigsby was as good of a prospect as Blake Corum. I don't care what anybody says. He's as good of a prospect as Braylon Allen. And Tank Bigsby did nothing. And I'm not saying Tank Bigsby's garbage. I'm not trying to paint that picture. I'm just merely saying that everybody needs to relax about the rookie running backs that are not named Jonathan Brooks and Trey Benson, because they might just be Tank Bigsby. And I think Lloyd has got enough holes and concerns, as you just mapped out, that like he is no threat to Jacobs. But is he a good handcuff? Sure. But like, I just want to make sure no one's scared about Lloyd getting drafted. No one's scared about Braylon Allen, who I liked a lot. He was the big bully running back of this class, but no one's scared of Braylon Allen. I'm not scared of little Blake Corum. I want him cuffed to Kyren, because if Kyren goes down, Blake will be the guy. Just like what was his name? Ronnie Williams? Was it Ronnie Williams? I think it was Ronnie. God, what was the backup running back in LA last year? I think it was Ronnie something. Ronnie something. But he was the backup. Like, if you had Kyren Williams, you needed Ronnie. So no matter what, whoever, McVay's starting one running back. And so if Kyren's the backup, I'm not scared of him, but I want him cuffed to Kyren, because then you have, no matter what, 17 straight starts. So it's
Ronnie Rivers.
Ronnie Rivers? Yeah, Ronnie Rivers, I think.
Mr.
Rivers. But anyways, Lloyd's a good cuff if he grabs the job, which probably should, but never know. I like him. He's a pretty decent sleeper. What else you got there, negative Ethan?
Well, I'm not like with Kyren Williams though and stuff. I just like Lloyd from a Packers fan standpoint. Hopefully he turns into something. But from a Kyren Williams standpoint, I'm really not that worried about looking for, I got to get the handcuff, because I feel like, so what? He gets injured, like if he tore his knee in week 6, and then all of a sudden the other guy, some other team plays the backup, like, so what? It's like the guy at the casino watching you trying to come in at your, slot machine or something. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I think Kyren Williams is. I think for the Jets, Breece Hall is the safest. I mean, there's nothing happening with that.
Yeah, so. No one's worried about that. No one's worried about Breece Hall. No one should be worried about Kyren Williams. It's not worried. It's now you have a safe cuff. Now you have a very good cuff. You should be cuffing both of them. You should be ashamed of yourself. Your mom's ashamed of you if you don't cuff Kyren and Blake Corum together. In a dynasty, you might not be able to do it because you need a draft pick to do it, and the right draft pick. But you can't walk out of a best ball draft or a redraft or a startup dynasty that's got all the players included. You should be absolutely ashamed of yourself if you grab Kyren and no Corum. And dare I say, in dynasty, in a startup, because Kyron's going to fall and he shouldn't, and Corum can only be ranked so high because Kyron's the starter, similar to Benson right now. Benson can only be ranked so high. Even at a dynasty startup, people are going to sleep on him because he's not yet the starter. Dare I say, Kyren and Blake Corum are one of the craftiest RB1s you could find in fantasy and dynasty startup, by far and away. This probably the safest you could find right now, too, because you can get both of them and you have a guaranteed workhorse no matter what. And I think Blake Corum will do good when he's force-fed the football, no doubt about it. But Kyren will do what Blake Corum could do times 5. He's proven that. But that's a good combo, man. I mean, Blake Corum, I'm going to have a cuff board. And we'll have, the most important cuffs in the NFL and fantasy football on a board ranked. And we'll drag them around when we feel the cuff values have changed. And if you guys say, hey, do you think we need to reorder the cuff board? And I'll pull it up and we'll look at it. But Blake Corum's going to be one of the more important cuffs in fantasy football, period. And that's going to scare people, but it shouldn't scare people. It should excite people in leagues where they can cuff them. Now, it does suck in Dynasty where you can't cuff Corum and Blake. Or Corum and Kyren, but doesn't scare me. It doesn't make me want to trade Kyren. It just means that it kind of sucks that Ronnie Rivers was so easy to cuff, and I was going to get 2 or 3 starts out of him maybe, because every running back you assume is going to miss a game or two, and now it makes it hard because Corum's a higher draft capital guy than Ronnie Rivers was. So
you made a good point when you did. No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just one of those guys, I don't, the people Smitty dropped this guy. I'm going to go pick him up. And you got someone who's always picking up the players you drop. And I don't know, I stress out during the draft. It's I got to get Algier or something, I say that, but that's insulting to Smitty. He's like Algier. But, it's just looking for the handcuff can be stressful in the draft,
What's he saying back there? Yeah, it can be, Ethan. All right, Ethan, hold on one second. Stay right there. I appreciate you. Let me go over to Ryan from Denver. Ryan, what's up?
Hello? Yeah, what's going on?
What's going on?
I wanted to run by a trade I sent and it got taken care of. On paper, the worst trade you'll ever hear. It was a first-round pick.
Hey, hold on. You let me be the determining factor of that. What side are you giving up the first-round pick here?
I gave up a first-round pick.
Okay, so you're giving up, and you're
2026.
You're getting. Hold on, I'm just gonna write this down. Getting. Okay, so what are you giving up?
2026 first-round pick. I think I got a great team, and it'll be late in 2 years.
Okay. 26 first.
I got Michael Penix Jr. I tried a second and a third. No bites.
Is this a super
But
flex?
and I think that it's a super flex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, this is where some people are gonna hate this. Some people are not gonna care. Like, if your team is solid, bro, and you want to solve a quarterback problem for yourself, this is the kind of move I make. I know people don't always like it. Usually, I can tell you the majority of your league did not like it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he was going to get drafted if I didn't take him. He slid to the third because he's not playing for 2 years. I'm in a position with
who said he's not playing for 2 years? Who said he's not playing for 2 years? Who said that? I haven't heard that.
Well, that's my expectation.
That's a worst case scenario, bro. That's a worst case scenario. He doesn't play for 2 years. That is. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you a secret? Atlanta Falcons don't really want that. Atlanta Falcons don't really. They hope that they're wrong, and they hope that Cousins, like, proves them so wrong that they're, like, just in a luxury type of situation. But at the end of the day, there's nobody that doesn't want to see inside that organization Penix Jr. be exactly what they thought he was. And maybe they look like fools for overspending on the most expensive backup quarterback in the NFL. But Penix Jr., no matter what they say publicly, and I know they've said this, Cousins doesn't have to look over his shoulder. If Penix Jr. becomes a top, 5-6 quarterback in the National Football League, they're going to be ecstatic, and this is why they took him. They would not have taken him at 8 overall if they didn't think there was a shot he was going to replace at some point because, look, Cousins is 36 years old. There's not a guarantee he goes out and looks the exact same this year as he did last year, especially coming off injury. And there's no guarantee his second year with the Falcons will look the same as 2-3 years ago. So this is the kind of trade I would do. And this is the kind of trade that I can tell you, I get the vibe, you get reamed, and I don't care. I made a trade in one of our follower leagues where I went and traded for Kyron Williams, and I gave up, what was that? I gave up Swift in a 25 first rounder, and I have a really good team, I think. I gave up Swift in a 25 first rounder for Kyron Williams. And I want to say that wasn't well received. And I knew it was going to not be necessarily overwhelmingly. Smitty won that trade. I don't care. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I think that trade smashed the other side to pieces. And in this case right here, look, if Penix Jr. becomes a top 5 quarterback, let's say, or a top 5 to 8 quarterback, and he's certainly capable of it. He's got an amazing offense. If he becomes a top 8 quarterback, guess what? He's going easily at the tail end or like pick 8, pick 9 in a rookie draft if you throw him in. So you're just getting an advance on it. And I don't mind. Like, you throw Penix Jr. into the 26th draft, which let's just say he doesn't play for 2 years. Okay, doesn't play in 2024.
This is how I thought.
Doesn't play in 2025. In 2026, he's now the starter. Would he go at the tail end of this 2026 draft? The answer is probably. Then you didn't make a dangerous move. Let people say whatever they want. What I would have tried to do, because the perception is probably bad, you could have maybe got like a second rounder included, and then you can kind of justify it in your mind that you're moving your first rounder down and getting Penix Jr. versus just giving something up. But at the end of the day, bro, if this was a position of need for you and it kind of puts you in a nice, potential, you got a quarterback situation going in mid-season, then bro, let them hate all they want.
I don't think it's a position of need, but I also don't think I have a position of need, so I might as well take a shot, take a gamble.
I don't hate it
on someone who I think is good.
Yeah, I don't hate it, bro. I don't hate it at all.
Who are your quarterbacks? Just curious.
I got Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I wouldn't say you're not. I mean, look, I like Dak, but you could easily
change fast. Yeah.
Yeah, that Dak and Goff situation, that's not immune to travesty. So I think that's fine. If
I like
you
the
had
deal even more now.
Yeah, if you had Burrow and Josh Allen, or Hurts and Josh Allen, or something like that, I'd been like, well, I hope it works out so you could trade them, but that's fine. I mean, this is super flex, bro. Did you win last year, or did you get like top 3?
Yep.
You won?
No, I won.
You won. So who's questioning you? How does anybody get to question the winner? Like, you clearly know what you're doing in this league, or you wouldn't have won. Superflex is not something. Let me tell you something. You jump into a Superflex draft as a rookie, you don't win it if you don't know what you're doing. You jump into a 1 QB and your cousin Billy Bob or Aunt Edna, and you just auto draft, or you draft with your eyes closed or whatever, you could win the league. Like, you throw Superflex into the mix, it's a eliminator of luck in terms of the 1 year wonder, or Joe from accounting or Maggie from billing, and you're in your draft trying to just randomly win the league and they don't even play fantasy. Superflex is a whole different skill level that eliminates that luck factor significantly. And if you win a Superflex league, it's really hard. You have to really know what you're doing, and these people shouldn't be questioning the league winner. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's really just on paper. It was a 3rd rounder for a 1st rounder. So that's why I thought it was funny, because I still like it, but it's just a 1st for a 3rd.
Why a 3rd? What?
Because Penix was a 3rd round pick. I traded up in the draft, my 1st rounder, to grab the 3rd round pick, which was Penix. I traded my 26th first.
So he was a third. He was a third round. He was a 3rd round rookie pick.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the optics of that are pretty. The optics of that are pretty bad. But I mean, I don't know. That changes the way we're looking at this a little bit, only because like you could have traded that 1st rounder for, I don't know, maybe more. I don't know. That definitely is going to make people like look at it differently. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, if this was like a month into the season, I don't think it would matter. But like,
even if he went to the Falcons,
you what?
On my big board, he's a 1st. So that's how I sleep well.
Was this before the draft though?
No, this was after the draft.
Yeah.
So he knew, like I knew, he's probably not going to start till 2026.
Yeah, I don't know. Travis, how does that change your view of the trade, just in terms of the optics of it? Like, the draft goes by, and then all of a sudden you're like, give me your a guy you got in the 3rd round for a 1st rounder. I feel like the only reason this changes for me is because I think at the end of the day it won't matter, but like, you could have got such a higher pick, in the draft. Like, you could have said, I'll give you my 1st rounder, you give me your 2nd, and then you like somehow trade it.
Taken Penix.
I don't know. How did Penix Jr. fall?
I think the point you made, where you said you could have tried to get like another pick back as well. I think maybe that would have been the only thing I would have tried, because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's his 1st round pick, but it's 2 years from now, and the player's a player. So I mean,
I just think like you could have.
If it works out, no one's going to think.
I'd almost rather him trade it for a 2nd round pick on the clock, using his 1st, and then drafted Penix Jr. Like, I hate the optics of you take someone's 3rd round pick. First of all, here's the other problem I have. I have more of a problem with that your league let Penix Jr. in a super flex rookie draft fall to the 3rd round. That makes me feel like this isn't really a super flex. How the hell did that happen?
That's what I wonder, is like, in the 2nd round, could he have offered like a 2nd and a 3rd next year to get back in the 2nd round this year and draft Penix? Yeah,
I think that's where you maybe made your mistake. Is like, you could have traded the 1st
that's
for
hard to do on the clock, though.
I mean, you definitely didn't get him at the right price at the right time and use like strategy. But like, at the end of the day, I think you're going to be fine. But I think you might have misstepped on deploying the strategy, because like, to come in after the draft and Penix Jr. is a third-round pick. First of all, again, can you answer that for me? Like, why would he fall to the third round in a super flex rookie draft? How the hell does that happen? Because he's like a borderline first-round pick.
The people who really dominated the first and second round were 2-3 people who quarterbacks they have already drafted. Like Nix went before Penix. I think Penix will have a better overall career than Nix.
Well, I do too.
So he was,
but it doesn't mean that they're that far apart though. So like, where did Nix go in round one?
Nix went round 2.
Part of me wonders if this is a limited keeper league. Is it?
It's a full-on keeper.
So that's not keeper. That's dynasty. It's a full-on dynasty league.
Dynasty.
You keep all your players. It's a dynasty.
Dynasty.
league.
Okay, because when you say keeper, that means there's limits of some kind. Okay, I don't know. I think you did good on paper. Like if you just showed me the end result, but I think you botched the trade process quite a bit. Just because you came in regretful, you're a regretful Roger. And you offered the world to somebody who just smiled and said, the market value, not for you, but for everybody else, is that Penix Jr. is garbage. And you just gave him a first rounder. We don't think he's garbage, but that was the market value. So you definitely misread the market value and should have, like Travis said, traded into round 2 when you were like itchy to get Penix Jr. and you thought he was going to go, because he should have won in round 2 easily. And then you would have been able to find somebody else that would have given you a better deal and given you a second and another second. So you would have got 2 seconds out of it, at least. Like a second this year, a second next year. Easily could have got that for your first rounder. Easily. And so instead of doing that, you waited till the draft. What?
The kid I traded with already had taken Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, and Drake May.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, though. I'm just saying, like, you should have taken advantage of somebody in the second round anywhere and gotten a future second rounder. All right.
I wonder if he would have fallen to the next round.
Anyway. All right, bro. Appreciate you, Ryan, for the question. We'll see you later, pal.
Appreciate it.
All right, later. I mean, I want to keep dancing around that topic. Let's see. Rock Out. You're live. What's up?
Yeah, what did you feel about that guy taking 6 receivers last night?
Oh, I can't stand that, man. I mean, I don't. Not only do I not like it for him to win, but he also just. It's kind of like sitting next to somebody at blackjack that doesn't know when to hit or stay. And so, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like. It's kind of like he's ruining it for everybody else, and he's not going to win. So. That's the way I like to liken it to. A blackjack player that doesn't know when to hit or not. Because if he says, hit me, and you're like, dude, you're screwing up the deck, and then you end up losing, he could look at you and go, oh, well, you lost. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to force receiver because I'm not going to start hitting and doing the opposite too because you are. I'm going to try and play right, and 6 wide receivers in a best ball is idiotic. It's just stupid. It doesn't. There's nothing that would have me drafting 6 straight wide receivers in a best ball draft. I don't care that it's 3 wide receivers. It's just a dumb approach.
Imagine if he took 6 QB.
Yeah, three in a row, 4 in a row. Like I get it. Like best player available could guide me into a 3 in a row. I rarely will draft 4 in a row, but yeah, it's ridiculous. 6 wide receivers in a row is just stupidity.
Are you kind of mad on London's draft price?
I don't like London at 12, 11. We've seen London go at 9. Like, wow. I love him. I just don't like the price. I love him. Could he earn it? Yeah. Could London be top 10 overall material? He sure could. And he's got the quarterback support, as we talked about tonight. But I think you're buying him at his ceiling value. Like, you need it. You need that kind of season or you're in trouble. So could he do it? Yeah. Am I going to draft him a lot at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? Probably not. But, do I love that I own him in several dynasty leagues? Yeah. I'm so excited about Drake London. Will I take him in 1 or 2 drafts out of 20 or 15 at 12, 13? sure. But very, very rarely, not often. I'm diversifying that more than I am other things. Like, I'll take Bijan an extensive amount, you know. I'll take Breece Hall a ton. I'll have probably 40% plus on Bijan and Hall, and in terms of my roster saturation on the Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Use code Smitty to claim your special pick plus first time deposit over $250 in bonus cash, up to $250 in bonus cash. Hit that link I'm going to drop in the live chat. It's also in the description of the video, but we definitely, you know, hit Underdog all the time. I'm not sure if we'll do a draft tonight. Maybe we'll drop a private draft, a link. I'll drop a private link if you guys want to. In fact, I'll drop it right now. I'll create a private link. Let me go over. This is going to be not for the big money or anything. It's just going to be the 12 of us, whoever gets in, take it the entire season together and see who wins. And then the prize money is divided up but based on the entry fee. So it's a small prize, but it's fun to do a bunch of these together. And then it's us the whole year. Not you don't break up into a different group in week 13. Like, we stay together all weeks 1 through 18 or 17. And then the winner's announced and you try and beat Smitty. Okay, so let me see if I can, let's go to the lobby, NFL. Let me create this link real quick. Let's do a $3 slow draft 12 team. Create a link. Okay, here we go. Copy said draft link, and let me send it to myself. Hold on. All right, here we go. Jump in. There it is right there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how fast this thing fills up.
Yeah. All right, I'm in.
Hey, MHJ or Puka?
What?
MHJ or Puka, Smitty?
Redraft.
Who you taking first?
We talking about redraft?
Yep.
Here's the link one more time, guys. I'm inviting you into a private league on Underdog. It'll take the entirety of the season. It's a $3 draft. Prize money's small, like $20 or something like that to first place, but it's fun to draft together. So I'll do these whenever I can't draft or I don't feel like doing a long draft. We'll throw a link in and do a private draft. So no worries. We'll draft somehow, some way. MHJ, I'm sorry, redraft you said?
Yep, MHJ or Puka.
Puka's safer. MHJ has higher risk, higher upside probably, but Puka is probably your safest redraft play there. And when you think about it, what's Puka's ADP? 9 to 12. What's Marvin Harrison's 11 to 14? So, I mean, the ADP is telling you that as well. But I can't lie. If I had the 11 pick in 2 leagues side by side and, you know, St. Brown was gone or just you limited my options to Puka and MHJ, I'm taking one in one and one in the other. So one of those 50-50 things. But I love Marvin Harrison Jr. so much, man. I think he could really be freaking gem. Just a freaking gem. You look at the receivers and you say to yourself, okay, and I'm not trying to crap on Jefferson because we love Justin Jefferson. I absolutely do. But right now with J.J. McCarthy, can anybody say 4 more to start, guys? Here's the link. 4 more. We need 4 more, and then the draft will begin. It's a slow draft, 8-hour timer, but you can obviously draft live. If we all jump in now, we'll all be live to do it. With JJM as his quarterback, I almost, when he was drafted, when J.J. McCarthy was drafted, I almost looked at it as like a negative. I almost like dropped my value in JJ a little bit, like one spot, because now he's locked into JJM. JJM is his quarterback now. There's no waiting for greener pastures. It is what it is. And if he's not the real deal, if he can't deliver Cousins type volume to him, which I don't know that he can. I'm not saying he can't, but I certainly don't know that he can. Then it's hard to know that he can be as good as he was. So, I'm not saying he's outside my top 5, but MHJ, especially from a dynasty perspective, now is the clear wide receiver one to me in fantasy, easily. Jamar Chase, I love him. Can he stay healthy? Can Burrow stay healthy? There's some risk there, right? But I still love him. Tyreek Hill, obviously not in the conversation in Dynasty, but in redraft, of course, he is. But could MHJ be in Dynasty the locked and loaded wide receiver one to everybody after 2024? I think so. And that means he has such a big year that the guys that are down in the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 overall territory, he's got to have that kind of year, I think, to be this. For me to be this confident about him in 2025 and beyond. But it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I definitely wouldn't take MHJ over JJ in redraft, over Chase in redraft, and over Tyreek Hill and Lamb in redraft. But am I scared to take him next over even St. Brown on a rotational basis, like St. Brown in one draft, MHJ in another? If I ever have to get to that point, I'm not scared to do it. But I'm certainly going to draft JJ in redraft over him. But am I worried that won't pan out? Not in a horrible way, but do I worry that MHJ will outscore JJ this year in 2024? Maybe a little bit. I think MHJ is that good.
Yeah. I've never taken a rookie wide receiver. I took Najee Harris as a rookie running back.
And he earned it. He earned top 10 overall value that year. We were probably one of the only channels that had Najee that high. We had him at 10. And it was not a popular pick, and he ended up absolutely proving his worth there. He was definitely worth it.
Yeah, so this might be the first year I take a rookie wide receiver pick. We'll see.
What do you mean?
So I've never taken a rookie wide receiver in a draft.
Ever?
So
ever?
No, rookie wide receiver? No, never.
What is that? What kind of stereotype is that, bro? What do you mean? You've never taken a rookie wide receiver in a draft, bro? Ever?
As a first pick?
Oh.
Of the whole draft? Yeah, never taken.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I take rookie wide receivers all the time. Just not,
I thought you. Okay. I thought you meant.
I thought he meant.
Now I do.
Yeah, you
did
clarify.
Any injured players?
You did clarify,
Christian
bro.
Watson tricked me last year. I make a rule: no injured players, because I already have to deal with injuries as the year goes on. And what does Watson do? Pulls his hamstring right before the first game.
Yeah, hang on,
Like,
hang on 1 second. 941 caller. 941 caller. Who is this and where are you calling from? 941.
It's Hoosier Deebo. I'm calling from Florida.
Hoosier, what's up, Hoosiers?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, bro. Glad to have you calling. You said Florida, right?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Okay, what's up, man?
Nothing. I'm just calling. Travis was always telling me to call, so I figured I would give it a shot this time.
All right, man. I'm glad you're here. What do you think about Malachi Corley? What do you think about Aaron Rodgers? What do you think about the fact that he'll be unrestricted walking into OTAs here on May 20, I believe is the date that he will be able to do that. And then
I think it's fantastic that Rodgers is getting they're letting him loose. I'd love to see him playing again like normal. Corley, I mean, he's in a great spot, but I mean, everyone. It seems to me. Let's assume Mike Wilson doesn't get hurt this year, which is very likely. But I mean, if he doesn't get hurt, Corley's path is a little bit longer than everyone seems to make it out.
Yeah. I think
it seems to me,
I think it could. I think that's why he's a mid-season monster, right? If I thought that Corley was a lock to be a gem in week one, he wouldn't be. He'd be on the Moon Man list, not the mid-season monster. But I don't want to suggest that he can't. Like, he's going to be great, but I don't want to suggest that he can be great from week one. Because, think about Jonathan Mingo. Not saying we made a mistake
for sure.
Not saying we made a mistake on Jonathan Mingo, really, but we did overhype that a little bit, and I just want to be careful that we're packaging in some time that isn't going to be needed, but.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah.
What about Breece Hall?
I wasn't. Breece Hall, I mean, I don't think he has anything to worry about. Have you seen the guy play?
Yeah, I have. He's pretty good.
How tall is
do you?
Breece Hall?
Yeah, he's all right at football. He's all right.
Yeah, he's really good. But what do you think about him this year? What do you think he's number 1, number 2?
Let's see. I think he'll be number 1.
I like it, bro.
One
more to start.
I mean, Bijan. Yeah, go. What?
Yeah, one more to start, guys. Click that link. I'm dropping the link one more time. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Join. We need one more to start this draft, and it's a slow timer, but if everybody's in here, you'll see it kind of go quickly. And I might put it on screen while we're talking until I leave. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, you're fine. I was just saying. Breece Hall. Bijan did really well last year, and yeah, he had Arthur Smith, and we all talked about that. But Bijan still did pretty decent for fantasy, right? You know.
Well, yeah, Bijan number 9.
Rodgers throwing the ball, it opens up the run game a little bit more, and he was already doing fantastic as it was. So,
yeah, Bijan was running back 9. I'll put the Bijan board up.
Running
back 9. I mean, if you told me like before the year started, he's gonna have 8 touchdowns and 1,400 total yards and 58 receptions, I probably would have been like, yeah, that's I definitely hope for more, but that's a good rookie year. Yeah, like we were just expecting so much more, and it sucked because we knew he could do it. It wasn't like, oh, he wasn't what we thought. It was like watching a guy have his one of his legs, taped up against his back, and he's hopping on one leg and the other arm handcuffed to his other hand, and I mean he was handcuffed. He
still got whatever 8 touchdowns, whatever it was.
Yeah, he's still good. All right. Hang tight, Hoosiers. I'll come back to you. Appreciate you.
I'm going to hang up.
Oh, all right. Later, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All right, later, man.
You could motion Bijan as a decoy and then give Algier the dive for the touchdown.
Guys, we need one more. Motion Algier. I don't even want to hear Algier's name. And the fact that everyone keeps saying he's the most important handcuff, and I don't agree. I think he's pretty important. Like if you draft, I think you're just gonna have a natural instinct to not even want his face near your team. But at the end of the day, you should be cuffing Algier and Bijan. But he's nowhere near the most important handcuff. I think the most important handcuff has to be. I mean, there's a handful of them. You could even get like complicated and say, well, should you cuff Mostert and Achane together over any sort of other, like, or is that even a cuff, or do you let those as complete separate running backs, and the only cuff you can say is Jalen Wright to Mostert or Jalen Wright to Achane or something like that? But because if Achane went down, Jalen Wright would be used. Mostert and Jalen Wright would both be used. They're not just going to say, hey, the wide back went down. Achane's essentially their wide back. They would have to figure out a way to supplement. So you could say Jalen Wright to Achane or Jalen Wright to Mostert if you consider Mostert and Achane completely separate running backs in their own right. But Corum and Kyren are probably the most important, given how it protects the more important name. The bigger name's Kyren, and Corum will be a fantastic cuff. But I guess I would say the top cuffs in the league from the running back position, if I had to just just list them off, I'd say Garendo could end up being that. We just don't know. Monty and Gibbs are completely different players. I don't feel like that's cuff-worthy conversation. I think Shipley's going to be important to Barkley, but he's not anywhere near the top. I think like we talked about, we want to cuff Jacobs with the rookie. Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker are still pretty important. I think Trey Benson and Connor, I'd have to say, given that Benson is going to be valued like a cuff, maybe Connor and Benson are the best cuff combo. Kyren and Corum and Benson and Connor are maybe the 2 best cuff combos in fantasy, potentially.
Do you think Braylon Allen is good, or do you think Abanikanda gets more run as the cuff?
I think
they drafted Isaiah Davis too.
I think it's going to take crowded. I think it's going to take longer for Braylon Allen to grab the backup role than people think. But I think once he proves himself, he adds a different dynamic. But you never know. Abanikanda could easily hold him off, and that's that Tank Bigsby, syndrome. Or
yeah. And they drafted Isaiah Davis, which you never know what he's doing either. So
I mean, Tank Bigsby should be a lesson for everybody, including me. Tank Bigsby scared the hell out of everyone for no good reason. There's no reason. There's no reason someone shouldn't be as scared or shouldn't have been as scared about Tank Bigsby as they are Blake Corum. ETN. Everybody thought ETN was gonna, get neutralized by that draft selection. And I'm not saying Tank Bigsby equals Blake Corum and that they're not completely separate situations. But I'm just merely saying, I feel that way about Corum. I think Corum is very good. But guess what? There are better running backs in college than him that didn't work out, given the concerns I have about him. And I'm not saying he doesn't work out, but he's not taking Kyren Williams' job. He's not. Mike Hart is another Michigan running back that was way better than Blake Corum. Mike Hart was fantastic. And he didn't do anything at the National Football League level. Not to say that can tell a story about another player's, they're separate, but I feel like I have concerns about Corum being so good that he can be a running back one in fantasy football if he's starting. I think he could fill in pretty well. I think anybody would fill in well, though. Anybody would fill in well in LAC, though. Or LAR. Anybody would fill in well in a McVay system. Like you put Joshua Kelly, the Charger running back that looked so good at one moment and then he got the starting job and he did crap the entire time Eckler was out. You take him and put him in that Rams offense and he's going to look great. Like everyone's going to look great in that offense. That's why Corum's such a good cuff.
what about Jalen Wright? If say you don't have Achane, but you have Mostert, do you recommend cuffing Wright to him, or do you think he's not worth it at this point?
Who?
Jalen Wright. Do I have that name right?
Yeah,
with the Dolphins.
Do I think he's worth cuffing? Yeah, I think he's one of the craftier.
Like if you don't have Achane, but you have Mostert, cuff Wright.
I think he's a dual cuff threat. Or a threat's probably not the right word. A creative dual cuff.
Cuff him to
either
Achane too.
Either one, because whoever gets hurt, he's going to have to go in and help.
Right. Right. Either way.
It's almost like
Is Jeff Wilson gone from Miami?
I don't think he's gone, but yeah, I mean, let me see.
He doesn't laughing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bringing that locker room presence.
Jeff Wilson. His current contract.
I think he's still there.
Yeah, his current contract, he's with the Dolphins for one more year. He's an unrestricted free agent in 2025. Unless he ended up getting cut.
Oh, boy.
Unless he got cut and no one updated it. But guys, we need one more person. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. I'm dropping the link over and over. The link's in the live chat. That's the exact draft link right there. We need one more person and then the draft begins. What are we doing?
Oh, thanks a lot, Smitty. I better get going.
Yeah, get out of here. Ethan, appreciate you. Later.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks a lot.
Later,
Marsman Rock out. What else you got, bro?
Yeah, I kind of don't understand the draft position for Olave.
Yeah. Why are people as high on him this year as they were last year? We loved him. I'm not trying to run away from that.
I think Carr is healthy. I think that's part of it.
Yeah. I mean, Rattler's kind of nice.
Wait, can I chime in on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Out of all those receivers, two slots up and down, I think he's the safest one of them all. Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, Deebo, Ayuk. I think he's the safest out of all of them.
I love him. You don't have to convince me. I mean, we have a drop for it.
Too.
I love him. I love Olave, but I just feel like he's definitely not safe. The draft's going to start. Thank God. He's definitely not safe in the second round, though. He might be. I don't necessarily disagree with you. Deebo's my guy of the guys you listed, but I think that it's very arguable, and it's between Olave and Deebo. But none of them are really safe second-round picks, to be honest. That's why I'm going Kyron Williams all day
None
long
of them
in the second round. They're all very, very risky.
Yeah. I've been finding that I've preferred going receiver in round 1. If I'm in like the top 7 picks and Bijan isn't there, because you're almost guaranteed to get Kyron in round 2, or even a Barkley or JT. So you're guaranteed a hero RB if you go receiver round 1.
Yeah, Achan's just a solid pick in round 2. Just a solid pick. This is the draft right here, guys. The draft has begun. It has commenced. I'm not going to sit here for the whole draft, especially given that it kind of took a little while to fill it, and people might not be here anymore. So it could just stall because it's got a timer. I think the timer is even off.
9 hours?
9 hours. Yeah, 9-hour timer.
Yeah.
Travis Rose on the clock.
Yeah. I have 9 hours and 53 minutes.
Yeah, please don't.
You gotta
Please,
put
Travis.
He's got to
Do
put
us a
the
solid.
snooze to go on.
All right, I picked.
All right, McCaffrey, okay?
Who's up? Bo Hunt and then Superfish. I don't know who Bo Hunt is, but he picked Superfish.
Hill.
Superfish is here. Hoosier's here. Rockout's here. I don't know who. All right. We're moving.
Tyreek Hill,
Hey,
Bijan,
Smitty.
CD Lamb, yeah.
I don't know if he's still here or not, but oh yeah, he's here. Easy3 has been asking since the very beginning for you to touch on when you have a chance. Justin Herbert, I think mostly from a dynasty perspective, and he's been asking the whole live stream. So I told him I'd ask you for him.
But isn't he the one that continued to want me to love him so badly last live stream, and we had to tell him to like relax?
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Was it? Oh, was last night? I missed last night's late one.
Yeah, he just like he wouldn't accept that I didn't love Herbert, and that's fine. I don't mind answering the question, but you're not gonna like my answer, bro. I like Herbert. How can he be in the top? Let me just see here. Hold on one second. I'm trying to make this code Smitty bigger. Code Smitty. Damit. Yeah, he's not gonna like my answer.
Yeah, it's him. I missed the live stream last night, so I didn't know that we already did this.
Yeah. So let's look at the quarterbacks. Let me just put code Smitty up here. Hold on, I had to fix this. Damit.
Wow, Herbert's a 17th quarterback in Underdog.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. Let me put the quarterbacks up on screen. So here's all the quarterbacks.
What?
Let's
what
do this.
upside does Herbert have to like realistically be a top 12 quarterback? I'm like seriously asking.
Well, I'll tell you. Hold on. Let me put it up on the screen here. All right. Here's the quarterback ADP data. So I'm gonna put I have up to Caleb, and then we'll go up to Purdy, and then I'll tell you what we're looking at. Number one, he has no wide receivers except for Lab McConkey, which I like McConkey, but that's not a very good wide receiver in the grand scheme of things when we're talking about. Am I on the clock? Who's on the clock? Okay.
No, you're good.
Nick is.
Okay. Nick, you're on the clock.
Yeah, what?
All right. While we're waiting for that, let me put the quarterback ADP data on screen. So here's the top. I don't know. Top. What is this? That's the same one. Hold on. It's got to be like the top 20 right here. Hold on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Top 11 on the left side. This is ADP, not my rankings. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. He's behind Jaden Daniels. He's QB 17. I don't disagree with this other than I don't have Caleb ahead of him. I have him above Caleb, and I don't have Tua ahead of him. I probably don't have Goff, and I probably don't have Trevor. Trevor Lawrence is borderline. So I probably have him higher than the ADP. I probably do. But we're talking about 11, 12.
I think he's a decent value on
13.
Underdog.
I'd
You
say
can get him as your second or third.
I'd say 13 overall, like in the redraft sense. Dynasty changes things a little bit, but if we look at all these players, they're all really good long-term options all the way through to Caleb. So the top 12, even Dak, Kyler, Burrow, A. Richardson, Stroud, Mahomes, Lamar, Hurts, Allen, none of those guys are moving behind Herbert in Dynasty. So Caleb I don't like more. Purdy is borderline. I think you could say Purdy and Herbert are close. Tua, no thank you. Goff, no thank you. Trevor Lawrence is borderline, but we'll put him right below Herbert. And JD5 put above Herbert. Penix Jr., I think could get there, but we wouldn't rank him there. So yeah, I would say you got Purdy, you've got JD5, so that's 11, 12. So I would say 13, 14. Herbert is QB 13, 14 in Dynasty. 12 to 13 to 14. That means he's not a starter. Herbert is not a starting quarterback unless he's the last quarterback taken by a team, QB 12, and you have a rotation. That's it. He has a horrible situation. Awful situation. Oh, I got Joe Alt. They're going to block for him. Okay, good. Who you throwing the football to? McConkey. I like McConkey, but guess what? That's the only thing you got. You got the worst running back stable of mid running backs I've ever seen. You got no one to throw the football to, and McConkey's a good prospect, but he's still a prospect that had some concerns. There was enough concerns to say, like, he's a steal for a team as their second wide receiver. Or in the case of Buffalo, I'd be happy because Buffalo is going to force feed him and mature him quickly. But I don't even know if McConkey's going to get force fed. He might not even be the guy that gets force fed. You don't know. Just because you like him, just because he is the best option on the team, we don't know how they're going to use him. This is an awful situation for Herbert. Couldn't be worse.
Yes. They got neighbors.
DJ Chark. They got Chark.
Yeah. Chark. Bring in Chark. Yay. Yay. We got DJ Chark now. We're really bringing in the mids. This is the all-mid team.
They can really chark it up.
The worst is when people come in and defend it. You clearly don't know ball, do you? You just play fantasy. You do. Hey, Smitty, you've ever been doing this as long as you... I love that on my Instagram. Whenever I do an anti-Charger, how they're building, anti-Charger build post, everyone's like, well, you don't know ball, bro. You haven't done, you clearly don't have any ball experience or any sort of NFL analyst experience. And I don't need to defend, the experience or whatever, but like sometimes I'll get amped up and I'll reply for fun and just have a good time. But it's like some of these people, I was doing NFL scouting analysis on NBC and CBS Sports Radio on the weekly, dropping bull predictions and such from all kinds of perspectives since 2003. So 19 straight years. Just because I do fantasy doesn't mean I don't know ball. Just because I have a emphasis on fantasy, I have a fantasy page. Of course I'm going to have an emphasis on fantasy. These posts that I put on Instagram on the Fantasy Football Show IG page, mind you, and people creep in and go, oh, this guy clearly doesn't know ball. He's talking about fantasy. Well, what room are you in, first of all? And second of all, if you want to have the football conversation, we have that too. And this is not a great move. This is not a good situation for Justin Herbert. The dead cap made it impossible. Herbert's best situation would have been to be traded to Minnesota to throw to Justin Jefferson. Herbert would be a top 7 quarterback if he's throwing to Justin Jefferson. If that helps answer or ease your mind easy, I like Herbert. I don't like his situation. Herbert in Minnesota throwing to Justin Jefferson makes him a top 7 quarterback. There was once a time where we thought Herbert was going to the moon on this channel.
He really punched us in the throat.
He did. Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you. Where is that? This is how much we loved Herbert on this channel. Just so you know, Easy.
Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat.
Herbert's the GOAT.
Herbert is the GOAT. He'll punch you in the throat.
He punched us all right in the nutsack. And it ain't going to change.
Literally.
Is Nick
Literally.
asleep? What is Nick doing? It's always one person. They join the draft, and then they can't even wait like 10 minutes. They leave. Here we are.
Nick has done this 3 or 4 times. He signs up and goes right to bed.
God, Nick.
He does it all the time.
Little nappy poo. Nick can't even stay up past midnight on a Friday.
We gotta.
Good God, Nick.
We gotta wait till like 10 o'clock tomorrow. I mean today.
Yeah. This poor guy, Easy. He's clinging on for dear life. Herbert's a GOAT.
Come on.
He wants it so bad.
In the throat.
He wants it so bad. This poor guy.
He's like my quarterback.
This poor guy. I feel bad for him. It's not your fault, bro.
Talk bad about my quarterback.
It's not your fault, bro. It's not Herbert's fault either. I love how people. What?
I was just gonna say, remember when we were dreaming of Herbert going to the Vikings?
Yeah.
That would have been.
Yeah.
Come on, Deebo.
Smitty, can I tell you on why you shouldn't draft Herbert in any of your leagues?
How are you going to sell me on that? It's like why would you even word it like that? How are you going to sell me on a player I just crapped all over? Or sell me on not drafting a player I just told you not to draft. But here, give me some supporting arguments. Give me some supporting arguments if that's what you're trying to say.
All right, so you got Tua. You can stack them in the Dolphins. You got Jared Goff, stackable. Trevor Lawrence, stackable. JD5, you can stack them. You cannot. They're all in the similar. Like every quarterback that's around them, you can stack. Besides Herbert, you just can't stack them.
Well, some would say McConkey. Some would say you could stack him to McConkey.
As a starter? No.
I'm just telling you. Some are going to say that. Some are going to say, "Hey, how you stacking Tua?" Like I mean, Tua is so. I mean, in best ball, Tua ain't bad to draft as your second quarterback. Like, let's say you have Mahomes, and
that's what I'm talking about.
And then you draft Tua, and then you got Tyreek Hill, and like it could work out some weeks. But I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, you don't have to convince me not to draft Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's going to be in a mundane, slow. It looks like Nick drafted. Thank God, Nick. Thanks for waking up, Nick.
Oh, he came back.
Yeah.
Who is he? Does anyone know who he is?
I don't know. Nick, speak up.
I ask this every time we draft, and he never reveals
Who is
himself.
Nick?
He has a different
Who's
name.
Nickelodeon?
He must have a different name in the chat.
Nicholas.
Mysterious man.
It's probably Tebow.
Now with Daniel Tomlinson has to draft now.
On his burner.
He's got better things to do.
Oh God,
Yeah, Nick is Eminem and Marshall Mathers.
Daniel Tomlinson. What's going on? Did John didn't return after I told him to shape up? Did he?
No. He got put in the corner. Blackbeard put him in timeout, and then he didn't come back.
Well, you come in.
Wait, what did he say?
Just running his mouth about how he's always negative in here. He's always negative. He's always complaining about something, and then he comes in and says, "Smitty, this show needs to be more professional on the phone line." And I like the show, but somebody's got to, I don't mean to be the bad guy, but someone's like got to say it. Just tearing down the show because I have an open phone line. He wants more professionalism on the phone line or something. I don't know what he wants. I'm on the clock here, people. I'm on the clock here, and the wide receivers are flying off the. No, not really. Okay, so I could go.
Boy Wilson.
Should I go double?
Get the ball turn.
Should I go double wides here?
Good.
Look at that double wide.
It's best ball, bro.
Let's do the double wide. Best ball doesn't make you have to go double wides, bro. Come on. Stop it. Stop spreading that nonsense. Go double wide when it makes sense.
I'm not saying.
There you go. Double wides. I went double wides. I went with the what did we call this last year? What was the stack called?
Double,
What's it? Was somebody eating something? What in the hell is that sound?
I don't know.
Oh, I'll snap my fingers.
You're licking your fingers? What are we doing?
I just snap my fingers.
Tripping, bro.
All right, 3 straight RBs.
The Double stack or something, or is that
Double? No, not double decker.
Yeah,
double decker. Double decker.
Double decker.
Garrett Wilson and Marv might be the double decker. Puka and Marv might be the double decker. I think we need a new double decker drop. So I'll read. Let me write that down. Double decker drop tomorrow. I'll work on that, and it's gonna be the double decker. A combination of Puka Nacua, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr. The double decker.
Bro, these RBs, bro. I always have to go Olave round 2, bro. I don't like it.
All right. Hey, boys, I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate everybody on the phone line. We're gonna keep this more professional. I'm just kidding. I gotta go. I'm going to bed. All right. I'll see you all later. Rock out. Take it easy on the fingers, bro. We'll see you later. Sebastian, go draft Olave. And Travis, what pick are you drafting from, Travis? You're from the 1 spot. Let me see if I can wait for your pick.
I'm up in 4 picks. And, dead zone of wide receivers. I don't know, going lost, but it's all right.
Is Smitty's screen fuzzy for everybody? I doubt it. I think maybe it's your Wi-Fi, bro.
No. Rocco, you said snapping your fingers, right?
Yeah, snap.
Everyone said
like
that.
Yeah.
Everyone thought you were licking your fingers.
No.
He's cracking them like this. I can't even do it.
Yeah, like 2 fingers together.
Rocco, you're up.
Oh, okay, hold on.
ASMR with Rock Out. Please hold another ASMR segment by Rock Out. The question is Superfish still here? Is Hoosier still here?
Jacobs.
And is Bo Hunt still here?
Yep. I think Superfish will probably go again. Hoosier's still here. Hoosiers. Yeah, come on, Hoosiers. You're up.
Rock Out. He's in the building. Jefferson and Jacobs, I like it. That's from the Rock Out's draft slot. To the right of that, Jamar Chase and Drake London. To the right of that, Amon-Ra, Devon Achane. To the right of that, Breece Hall, Devontae Adams. To the right of that, A.J. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyron, Puka and Barkley, Garrett Wilson and Marv. Superfish says, I don't care what you think of my boy Waddle. I'm taking him. I'm taking my Dolphin. Superfish ain't having
Where
it.
you like?
What?
Where do you like Deebo Samuel?
I find myself taking him in the 2-3 turn, but I don't. It's not like it's definitely got risk, but sometimes it just depends on who gets sniped. You know, like when you get to the point where, like right now, the best wide receivers available are Ayuk, Nico, DJ Moore, Diggs, Neighbors, Evans. That's kind of dry. He dries up. Hence why I like balance. Hence why I like a running back, wide receiver, or wide receiver, running back to start, if possible. Balance is the best.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even love my Garrett Wilson Marv as much as Balance, but I do like it. It's kind of fun. It's definitely going to be the double decker. We're doing that. I'm going to drop it tomorrow. Almost took Waddle. Let's see if we can get back to my pick. It's definitely going slow, but almost took Waddle. So
I got 2 in a row here, so I'll try to get going here.
Nick, stay on if you can, Nick. Don't go back to Betty Bye yet.
Come on, Deebo. Come in.
Get lammed.
Get lammed.
Got back-to-back picks.
Rock out. All right. Deebo.
Hey, should I draft Justin Herbert?
Tyreek Hill. Yeah, sure. Running back room got drained quick, says Hoosiers. So did the wide receiver room. I mean, wide receivers got really thin.
Special receiver.
Yeah, I mean, receiver is going to be the trouble point for everybody. I mean, there's a lot of running backs that went, so now everybody's going to be scared to death about wide receivers, especially like double RB people like at the 10 spot. Gibbs and Kyron's fantastic, but puts you in a bind. Double wide receiver, Tyreek and Deebo, okay. Bijan, Jalen Waddle, CeeDee Lamb, Olave, Justin Jefferson, Jacobs. Let's see what Travis does with these back-to-backs. He's almost timing out.
I mean, he would have, yeah.
Almost there. Just got to make my decision.
I
don't know what Ayuk worries me.
It's going to be interesting what happens with Deebo and Ayuk in the offseason, or in the in-season, though, because as I mentioned earlier, like, Deebo can't be happy. He's obviously not happy, and
That's why I'm a little worried about Ayuk, but
Ayuk is definitely not happy right now. If they pay him, my concern is that, like, this is why the Eagles are such a great offseason team and the Niners are not. Is the Eagles paid both their wide receivers. They just said, we don't want any drama. Not to mention, they said, we want you long term. How are the Niners not wanting Deebo long term? How are the Niners not wanting Ayuk and Deebo long term? Not to mention, to be quite frank, I would franchise tag Brock Purdy before I would you know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about losing Brock Purdy. Like, I would definitely. Everyone's saying they need to extend him and put him on this big contract, but I would literally let his contract run out, and then later on even potentially franchise tag him. I'm not worried about Brock Purdy next year like they are. I let Brock Purdy prove it for a little while, and you're already planning as if Brock Purdy can't falter. And so the fact that you aren't worried more about your wide receiver room and locking that down, and your salary cap's going to go up and increase every year. Every 2 years, it goes up 20% roughly. So you're going to have plenty of money and opportunity to give Brock whatever you need to once you need to give it to him. But the fact that the Niners are not worried about locking their wide receivers down like everybody else would be, it's weird. And it doesn't put them in a good position this year, because now Deebo doesn't have as much drive and determination for his team. Like, why would he? How could he feel exactly the same this year as he did last year, when his team is essentially telling him, we tried to trade you, both of you. We tried to trade Ayuk, we tried to trade Deebo, we couldn't get rid of either one of you, and we haven't signed Ayuk. Now his price has gone up, so we're definitely not signing him to a deal he wants. Like, Ayuk's going to have to fold to a very, very lesser deal, or he's going to play on his option year and try and bank on himself, at which point the Niners could still franchise tag him, although the Niners are probably not likely to use the tag. They usually don't, but they could. And I don't know. I don't think that this is going to be a very happy wide receiver room if they don't pay Ayuk and they're planning on getting rid of Deebo. If they pay Ayuk, they're getting rid of Deebo. If they don't pay Ayuk, who knows what happens to the wide receiver room. But all I know is
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, if it was me, I would be locking up these 2 wide receivers and worrying about Brock Purdy later, because Brock Purdy has no real leg to stand on. He just came off of a surprisingly good year, and you're already talking about resetting the market and writing a blank check $500 million type of deal to a guy that just came off of a season that you don't know what he is yet, and he kind of didn't play well in the playoffs. Overall, he didn't play well. He had some moments, but I don't get what's going on. The Eagles are the playbook. This is the off-season playbook, the blueprint. How you deal with your team, how you keep it together, how you add it, make additions, how you draft. I mean, good God, getting arguably 2 of at least the top 3 corners in this draft, giving Fangio arguably the most scary defense at the end of the day. I think the Eagles defense might make the Moon Man list. I think we might have a Moon Man list edition, a defensive edition, and we've never had that. That's going to be pretty exciting if they make the Moon Man list, to be honest. Does Josh Allen get more love than Herbert because he runs the ball? Easy. I'm not going to even entertain this question. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Herbert's not what you want him to be. Like, stop. Does Josh Allen get more love than Herbert? What kind of question is that? Josh Allen's the number 1 quarterback in the league, especially in fantasy. You're on a fantasy football show. Like, Herbert can't hold his jockstrap, bro. Herbert isn't even allowed to get Josh Allen coffee. Unreal. Unreal that I'm even...
I almost went with Evans as wide receiver 3. I'm like, no, I'll just get Josh Allen while I can.
Unreal I'm even asked to clarify the difference. Why is Josh Allen ranked higher than Justin Herbert? I'm not... I mean, the fact that I even be asked that, I'm offended. Easy, I'm not going to say I love you, Easy. I like you, Easy. But you're definitely definitely a little bit out there right now.
Who just took Josh Allen? Who's on the phone?
I don't know.
I was thinking about just going Mike Evans in round 3, locking down my receiver core. But
yeah, who's talking? What's your name? Sorry.
Sebastian.
Sebastian,
okay.
He's in the building.
I usually never go receiver, but thought about it.
Can't go wrong with Allen. Allen, Chase London, I really like that. Daniel Tomlinson.
I don't know if I agree with that. Herbert used to be good. Hoosier said he only got a shot because Tyrod got hurt. No, he was the future, bro. But Herbert was going to be good. Herbert still could be good, but the problem with Herbert is he's going to have his growth will be stunted by being stuck in this situation. We'll never see Herbert develop like he should develop. That time is over, unfortunately, because you put him in this offense, this Mickey Mouse offense that Harbaugh is creating. That maybe it does okay. Maybe they win games. I mean, you know what I mean? Like from that perspective. But Herbert's gonna be playing. This is gonna be like watching one of the most amazing drummers. Like, this is the best analogy I think I can come up with. It's like watching one of the most amazing drummers in the world, like, play at like the church, concert. Where he's supposed to just go doo doo doo. And this guy's got the best drum skills known to man, and he can't unleash anything. He's not even allowed to unleash anything. He's got to just hit that hi-hat, and he can't even hit the
suffering, yeah.
He can't even hit the double bass. He's not even
in the pocket.
They didn't even give him a double bass. They said, you don't need a double bass here.
Suffering and sadness.
I'm Herbert, the drummer for the local church. What? Yeah, put Herbert in New York with Deebo. This is what we talked about, Chris from Vegas, and I can't wait to meet you, bro, in Vegas. You're gonna be there, right? June 28 and June 29 at Stadium Swim at Circa. You can either stay at the D or Stadium Swim. That's where most everybody's going to be. Herbert to play with Dable and Neighbors. Herbert to the moon. Herbert top 5 to 7 quarterback. But we'll never see that, unfortunately.
You're right.
I'm up.
Yep, made it back to Smitty.
I am up. Ugh.
All right, go back picks.
Ugh. Let's try something different. Let's go with the little... Let's go wild. Let's go wild.
Wild West.
Devonta Smith.
I got it.
Devonta and Tank. 4 receivers.
Good.
No.
Best player available.
I might go, yeah, best player available is definitely having me look at wide receiver here, but think about either McBride or Devonta Smith.
You got back-to-back picks.
Got the McBride.
Let's go with
Smith and Dell. Your receivers are on lock.
Let's go with let's go Devonta Smith and McBride. Boom.
There we go.
No running backs. no running back. No running backs. Game on. I don't like this team. This team's okay, but all right.
Have to have like Ramondre is everyone.
One-armed drummer from Def Leppard. Yeah, I mean, he still was allowed to rock out, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The one-armed drummer from Def Leppard playing in Def Leppard is like the equivalent of like AR5 going to, Indy. but Herbert playing in a Harbaugh system with a bunch of mids across the board, running back, wide receiver, is like the best drummer in the world going to the church band and them saying, tone it down, play. I want you to hold your stick like this. You got to hold your stick like this and like this. You can't even yeah, I want you to That's Herbert. Herbert isn't even gonna smile as he's playing football. He's just gonna be out there like he's playing catch with his cousin. He'd be like, "Oh, go deep. Okay, great. Catch the ball. Fantastic. All right, defense, go get him." Let's go ahead and punt on second down. I want the defense back on the field immediately.
Tank.
Ooh, Bully. Who's doing Bully quarterback? Who's doing Bully?
Damn, I wanted Mahomes on my Allen.
Avon's going Bully. Avon's going.
I'll pick away.
Avon's going
I gotta
Bully.
go with the safe guy.
Hey, as long as Nick is picking, I'm happy. You can take anyone you want.
Haven't done this in a while, but we'll try it.
Herbert, Sherbert.
Draft is flying right now.
Almost at the 5th round.
What day is best to meet up? It depends, Chris, what you want to do. Like so, just so you know the game plan, you think about what works best for you. Saturday all day by the pool, Stadium Swim. If I have a list of names, I think I can. So if you email me through thefantasyfootballshow.com, just send me an email. Email me contact info or whatever, like name and probably, I don't know if they need phone number, but name, email, and so I can put you on a list, and then you should be able to get in Saturday for free. I can't guarantee that, but I'm pretty sure you'd be able to. And then I'm live streaming pretty much all day. I don't know what time it starts. I imagine like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and it goes to like 3 or 4, I believe, is what it did last time. So it'll be like all day in the cabana. It's going to be in the big main cabana at Stadium Swim, so it's going to be amazing. And then the day, so that's Saturday, the 29th, and the day before, I'll be there, and I'm going to live stream my 8 p.m. show, which is 5 p.m. Vegas and 5 p.m. Arizona time. So my 8 p.m. show is always 5 p.m. my time, or 6 p.m. depending on the daylight savings. But 5 p.m. Arizona time and Vegas time on Friday, I'll do my normal 8 p.m. Eastern show. And then after, I'll hang out for a little while. But that will be like a smaller amount of time. So if you're driving down, parking, and like I'm there for like 30 minutes and you could hang out longer on Saturday. So that would be my advice on Saturday. But you do whatever works for you. I'll definitely be there both days, and I'm just going to be there in like a shorter, or be available in a shorter amount of time. But I will be doing the graveyard show around 9:30 p.m. So about 12:30 Eastern, midnight, 12:30, 9:30 p.m. Vegas time, maybe 10 p.m., 1 a.m. Eastern. The graveyard show on Friday night. So I don't know that anybody's going to make it for that unless you're staying in the hotel, which some people are. But George Pickens just went. Zay Flowers just went to Travis. He's got Brandon Ayuk and Zay, McCaffrey and Henry and Anthony Richardson. Richardson. He's in the building. All right. After my next 2 picks, I'm out of here.
No one snipes me anymore.
Pretty good to make it into the 5th round on one of these. Still live.
Yeah, almost a 6. Well, it'll be the 6th time Smitty goes.
I think when people try and do weird drafts like I'm doing, it's hard when you draft with like-minded people because it just won't fall right. You almost have balance is almost the best way to go in a snipe situation because you get stuck in crazy.
That's what I ended up doing.
Yeah, you get stuck in a weird spot. Superfish is up. What's Dalton Kincaid's ADP? It can't be 4th round.
60 something. Yeah.
Sniped again.
That was high, Superfish. What about Jonu?
Bro, they won't even see. You never let me see them, bro. Who did it.
Oh, wow. Actually, Kincaid's up to 52.
Is he?
She only took him like 6 or 7 picks early.
Okay.
I didn't realize he jumped that high. He was like 63 a week ago.
I mean, hey, I'm not mad. I love Kincaid, but I guess I'm upset he's going too early. But that ADP jump is high. Smitty, do you think you'd try the big dog this year for 500? Absolutely. I'll probably live stream it though after I've already started it and entered. I don't want any sniping and have you guys in my $500 big dog. Like that's.
Wait, are you gonna do all 64 of them?
Am I gonna do what?
Are you gonna max out your entries
on big dog?
Yeah.
On big dog, no. $500 entries, no.
It's like 30 grand.
What do I look like? I look like I'm made of money, bro.
You look like Ron Navy.
Shit, I don't know, bro.
I mean, I'm gonna max out the underdog fantasy best ball mania and probably max out the $10 weekly winners. I think I'll try and max out both of those. I've already got it set up. I'm maxing out the underdog big board. Or, I'm sorry, the underdog best ball mania. I'm maxing it out.
Is the eliminator the weekly winners? Is that the one you're referring to?
Yep, $10 weekly winners, or 15. It might be $15 weekly winners. But I'm gonna max that bad boy out. I love that. That one's my favorite. It's my favorite. Absolutely my favorite. I love that one because every week is a reset for you. And I think the only reason I didn't win or have a significant shot at my weekly winners, because I got into like the 20s and hovered and then fell out and got into is because of the Bijan, because I had so many Bijan Robinson shares, but the Bijan and the injuries, because I had so many Joe Burrow teams, so many AR5 teams, so many on the weekly winners. I had so many of those guys because Joe Burrow is one guy that he can be inconsistent. He can start off slow, but I drafted him a lot heavy in the. That's why diversification is going to be a big thing for me this year.
Sick Nasty is Nick.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Sick Nasty. We're clowning on thinking you were some sleeping John that was going to bed early, and Sick Nasty's like, I'm here. Sorry, Sick Nasty.
He's probably at work. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, my bad, Sick Nasty. My bad.
Yeah, my bad too.
Rockouts on the clock.
Nick hell before I knew who he was.
Then Sebastian, then Avon, who's probably going to go third quarterback. Tebow is up, then Tomlinson. Then the Ballers, and then Golf is Life, and then myself. We're making fun of Sick Nasty. We're like, this guy's probably asleep. Who is this?
Bro, that was early. Oh my God.
Meanwhile, he's working his butt off.
Who took Joe
Joe
Burrow?
Burrow, bro, in round 5? Bro.
There's some reaching going on here.
There's no other QBs left, I guess. I'm thinking there.
You guys have sniped quarterbacks early across the board. It's all right, rock out. This might be one of my first. Remember, I said the other day I always draft a Mahomes or a Hurts or a Josh Allen, but these are the one drafts where I usually don't because you guys all sniped them all so early. So I just kind of let you guys do it. I'll try my oddball non Joe Burrow or Josh Allen move. I thought Joe Burrow would fall to me, but Rockout just crushed my hopes and dreams there.
I think he wanted.
I was going to reach from the Sagum Chase, but apparently not.
I mean, Rockout's in the building.
What would you say is reasonable? Like if it's within 10 picks of ADP, that's not too bad, right?
It depends. I mean, it depends how many times you've done it too.
It depends where they are. Yeah.
If it's like after 100, 10 picks is good. Like it's fine.
Yeah, but I would say
there's times I'll do it.
I would say people should try and stick to ADP to the best of their ability, though. Like drafting a guy in the 70s that belongs in the hundreds just to get him is like eventually that comes back to bite you.
Yeah.
There's not a real, just let him go. Let him go, and you'll get plenty of shares in another draft. You just can't.
Yeah, I heard.
I will say though that
for example,
I was gonna say I see Kyle.
Like Anthony Richardson. Sorry, I swear to God.
I was gonna say Kyle Pitts is available right here. In retrospect, I would have much rather have Mahomes early, which is it's tough to take him early at 37 too. But and then have Kyle Pitts. So Mahomes and Kyle Pitts would have been pretty solid. So I was just saying that in retrospect, that could be something I kind of regret in hindsight. But go ahead.
I was just gonna say like I took Anthony Richardson 49 and his ADP is 56.9. Is that too early? I mean that's like
no
6, 7, 8, or 7 or 8 spots. I mean, and I was looking for balance, something
Yeah, like this right here is tough for me.
You could.
What?
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I said you could reach for Benson at like pick 90, right? If you go like one running back and like 3 receivers and a bully QB.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, but like 60 something is way too early. Like I'm not gonna take him. Like even 70s, really high, bro. But yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do here. Well, yeah, keep in mind Benson's in the hundreds. Like nobody should be taking. He's one of the biggest steals.
Got your boy Murray.
Yeah, Murray's tough because
right now.
Yeah, Murray's probably a guy I might take with one of these picks. Problem is, I'm reaching hella high for him. He's got an 80 overall ADP, but I mean, the way everybody's snagging quarterbacks, though, it's not crazy to go Kyler. I mean, otherwise I won't have one. So this is a bad example.
That's the other thing.
I'm gonna go.
You can get Kittle and get that tight end ceiling.
I know you want Kyler, is why you're saying that. Okay, so Zamir White and Kyler. Whatever.
I also think when you look at like the individual position, you know, if a guy's like way up on like in the top like 3, 4, 5 on that positional list, and you're trying to balance out something, you know, you might reach a little that way.
Yeah,
too.
I had to take Kyler or Jordan Love here because by the time we get back 24 picks, both those guys will be gone. So I'd have no quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I had to take him there because everybody's reaching like hell for quarterbacks. Normally,
Otherwise,
Joe
you're
Burrow.
gonna have Justin Herbert.
Yeah, normally Joe Burrow would be here at this turn pick for me. Kyler would be there at the next turn for me, but he wouldn't be in this group. So it is what it is. All right, I gotta go, boys. Appreciate you.
All right,
thanks, Smitty.
All right, later, guys. That's the draft. You guys want to do this too? Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. It's fun to do these. It's fun to do these with you guys, especially when we do a $3 draft like this. It's $3. It's not a big deal, and you can kind of do some crazy scenarios, and you don't have to feel any sort of bad at all by doing some kind of wild approach. You know what I'm saying? Like, just have fun. Drop a. Let's see here. Hold on. I'm trying to put the link. Code Smitty. Let me copy this link. Why won't this copy? There we go. There's the link right there. Appreciate you all. I feel responsible for the QB reaches. Yeah, you did double up on Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, and bully quarterback the group. So that definitely triggered something. And you still got a pretty decent team considering, although you might be a little thinner in some spots, but maybe not. I mean, but that is definitely a good approach. In some ways, you're knocking out a lot of people's ability to compete with you if you have, you know, these quarterbacks, you know, grabbed. Remember we did the 3 quarterback approach, and I want to try and do that again just in one draft just because it was so fun. I had such a good team. Didn't end up. I think one of them was Burrow or somebody got hurt. It was one of their injured quarterbacks, but we went 3 quarterbacks, 3 big name quarterbacks. So it'd be the equivalent of getting like Josh Allen, Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round picks, or you couldn't. I mean, yeah, you could maybe. You just have to line it up just perfect, and it would be hard to do. It'd be really hard to get those 3. You'd almost have to use a 2nd rounder to get Josh Allen, then take Hurts in 3 and Mahomes in 4. But you could maybe do it 3, 4, 5. You could maybe, if it was the right pick and everything fell right, and imagine having Mahomes, Hurts, and Josh Allen, and still having your 1st, 2nd, and 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and if you hit everything, you were dominating your field, and you're going to advance to the next round, and then you just have so much firepower. But it sucks that you're only able to use one of those guys, but you're guaranteeing yourself probably 50, 60 points of that quarterback spot because one of them's going to blow up. So it's just a fun strategy to try. It's not a likely strategy to win, but I always love doing it. I'm gonna send that email. Is it a? Just go to thefantasyfootballshow.com, hit contact us, and send it to me there. Chris, appreciate you. I'll see you all later. Oh, I'm sorry. We had a couple super chats sitting here. Belichick yourself. You still here? 18 months. Smitty used my free chat. You missed it. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Celebratory. Belichick yourself says 18 months membership. Baker Polk Yeah, baby. Pats for life. Baker, Polk. Hey, Belichick yourself. You still here? I'm sorry for the delay on that. Big T dropped his celebratory message already. And then 1 month membership. Alec, appreciate you dropping this. Alex is huge. Hopefully Belichick yourself is still here. My fault, bro. And then Coble says, did you know Chark is a Charger, Smitty? Oh, people were actually really excited about that in the chat earlier. They kept saying, Smitty, Chark is a Charger. Go Bolts! Putting Bolt signs, and they were serious. There are 2 or 3 guys legitimately pumping up Chark to the Chargers as if it was going to change my mind, because they know how critical I am of that situation, and they were just hoping that those two, that landing spot might just sway me just a little bit. I might be a little bit more on board. What's going on? Is Belichick yourself here? Damn it, I think I messed up. I'm sorry, Belichick yourself. Baker, Polk. Yeah, baby. Pat's life. Let's go. Belichick yourself. You need to call in and discuss this tomorrow. Definitely think you'll like my stance on what New England's doing. Don't know that you're winning right away, but you definitely are setting up something special, I believe. So I'm sorry if I missed your super chat. I hope that you call in tomorrow. All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate you all. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday, live when big news breaks, and live graveyard shifts like this to do some drafting and other stuff. Peace out.